Hello and welcome to our weekly Torah outreach program, Erev Shabbos, Burst of Inspiration. Today's Burst of Inspiration is dedicated by Mr. Joey Seif in memory and Le'ilui Nishmas, his grandfather, Harav Avraham Yehושע ben Rab Tzvi Elazar, Rabbi Avraham Seif. It's also dedicated, as always, in honor of our as a schus, a merit, for our hostages that should come back safely and quickly to their families, and our soldiers should see nothing but success in their endeavors. This week's Parsha, Parshas Tzav, from the book of Vayikra, a very detailed Parsha about the intricate laws of sacrifices. So much that we can learn just by how the sacrifices were brought and the words that are used to talk about them, that how we're supposed to work on ourselves. A lot of the sacrifices are brought as sin offerings. One of the main sacrifices that are discussed today, or in this parsha, is the korban olah, the burnt offering that is completely burnt on the fire. Now it says, "Hi olah al mokta," it goes up on the fire. Why does it have to tell me that? It's a sacrifice. I know it goes up on the fire. I know it's completely burnt. That's why it's called an olah. But why does the Torah have to tell me that again? And also, the word mokta is written very strangely in the Torah. The first letter of the word mokta, the mem, is very, very small. Why is it so small? So the Medrash explains these problems. First of all, the Medrash explains that the sin of arrogance, olah, somebody up about themselves, feels too much about themselves, that sin is always punished through fire. The generation of the flood, they weren't drowned by the 40-day rain. They were boiled by the water that came up from underneath the earth. Pharaoh's horses and armies weren't just drowned when they went into the Red Sea to attack the Jewish people. The ground heated up and burnt them. You see this happen throughout the Torah, that people who show arrogance are punished through fire. Why fire? Well, fire is the greatest of the four elements that the Torah says everything is made up of these four elements. There's fire, there's water, there's wind, and there's earth. Fire is the greatest. It is the most spiritual. Let the greatest of the elements come and punish someone who is showing the greatest of a negative attribute. Also, fire, you could call it the great equalizer. When fire is done with something, it returns back to its original elements. Ash, dust, smoke, spirit, earth. And any water that was left is evaporated. It's broken down into its most base elements to show there's nothing to be arrogant over anybody else. In the end, we're all the same. It's funny though. When we talk about fire, there's so many positive things about fire we talk about. We talk about the fire of Torah, the fire inside of a person when he's connected to Hashem. Because fire has a positive aspect. I've always mentioned that when dealing with the animal kingdom, when dealing with an animal, everybody knows that you light a fire to scare away an animal. Because animals know only one thing by instinct. They don't cook their food, therefore fire is bad, and they run away. But a human being knows that fire has a bad side and fire has a good side. And the spiritual good side, that another word for fire or heat is cham. And the word for a wall is a choma. Why is a word for heat and a wall the same thing? Because sometimes if you're outside the wall, then it has a different word. It's called kir, which comes from the word kar, coldness. But if you're inside, it keeps you warm. And it's called a choma, cham, heat. That same fire, that same heat that will go against the enemies of the Jewish people who show their arrogance by attacking us, that same burn will then be redirected and used to warm and protect our people. Shabbos.